you feel anything else?
So it was mainly, like you said, like this area, but also a bit around here.
That's your third eye, and that is a good thing you can do to help protect yourself. Just when you're walking around the street, or you're in the pub with other people and they've got gritted teeth, or in a restaurant and they've had a bad day, when they go around going, it forms like little monsters and jumps into your aura. And the way it jumps into your aura is through here, it's like your third eye. So what you can do to protect yourself, like a safety belt, is just picture you've got a mirror, sort of that far in front of you, facing away from you, so I can see myself in your mirror, then it's just picture there. Or a door closed, but a mirror seems to sort of bounce off that. And if I was biting my finger and turning you off, to protect yourself so it doesn't get into you and become part of you and define you, just visualise, you're telling the universe that we're going to close that off. But that's the doorway, and not many people know that, you see. Physical eyes only see physical things, of course, and that's like 0.04%, I think, on a spectrum of stuff, from trust and love to gamma rays and everything else. That's massive, and we're told to believe that's all there is, and it ain't all there is. There's everything else pretty much but that. That's nothing very much at all. Yeah. So you can tune into these, and they're your friend. They want to try and help you. So I could go on for hours.
No, it's fascinating. I'm sure people are interested as well. Does that mean though? So if I felt those two particular areas, different people would feel different ones depending on...
Totally, all the time. It's so subjective to your personal DNA, actually your spiritual portrait. Have you ever been to a funny healer before?
Funny healer?
Any healer before?
Yes, I've had a little bit of experience with it. I do believe in it. I honestly think it does help. But I've never had a full body one like we're doing today. Right. So I'm curious.
First of all, it kind of doesn't matter when. I'm glad you do believe in it, but it doesn't matter if you don't. I've heard many people say, what are you talking about? And they change. And secondly, there's no contact at all. My hands are about that far away from you, and you're likely to feel heat from the hands, like someone's opened an oven door or something. So it's more than just body heat. It's like heat, like a sunray lamp, and you don't know what's going on, but it's heat. Or you might feel cold, like someone's opened a fridge door and it's rushing, tinkly cold, what's going on? Or you might feel a breeze, which is really odd. We've got the window open today because it's still fairly summery, but even on a cold winter day, when the heating's on and the windows are closed, people still get a sort of slight breeze, enough to make a candle flicker, not to make it blow out. All of which are your senses translating the vibes that are coming in. So you're kind of overqualified with just having a pulse and being physically present. And what happens is, I'm the telephone, but the conversation is between you and a sort of a higher intelligence. They know you're here, and I'm going to hoover out all the emotional, mental, all the stuff that people carry around with, the baggage, right back to childhood, and even to past lives, stuff that karma that needs sort of clearing out, that stops you being the best version of you. And it sounds all majestic and a bit sort of mystical even, but you will feel something strange but really good. Something's on your side. You're meant to be doing this kind of thing, and you'll just feel lighter afterwards, but not immediately afterwards. In the next 24 hours or so, probably this time tomorrow, just for a couple of hours, you might, or later on today, it depends, you might get a thumping headache, which is not the good version. So curse that silly healer and take some pills and you'll be fine. All the headache is it's not even a real headache, it's just stuff coming out, but at least you know it's real. And the pills just seal the nerve endings, so it's like having a headache but without feeling the pain. So it's just horrible, but at least it's real. And the other thing is you might sleep like a baby. You might sleep really, really well. And you just, it's like divine sleep. I've had insomniacs who just come just so they get a good night's sleep. This happens. I do lots of things actually. The recent thing is fertility. I've got people pregnant. I've got people pregnant with my hands that far away. People who have had blocks and sort of irregular plumbing from the age of sort of 13, 14, never been told they can't have children, they've had children. So there's lots of things that block you that you don't know are blocking you. And those things that nothing else can touch, pills can't touch, doctors can't touch, talking groups can't touch, chemicals will not suppress it, they won't cure it. Mm-hmm. This goes holistically right to the reason why emotionally you got it in the first place and just hoovers it out. It's like it doesn't want to belong to you, all the horrible stuff. It just doesn't know how to get out. So I open the birdcage door and let it fly out. That's how it works. Ideally, a minimum of 5 sessions, but you will feel something on the first one. Though if you have any questions or anything like that, just afterwards ask me and I'll explain away what happened and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, thank you. It's really fascinating. Actually, one thing I did want to ask, because there's so many different terms for all of these treatments, and it's very confusing. And like as you just mentioned, there's like different things stuck to us in different places, and then some people talk about chakras, and some people talk about reiki, and then pranic healing.
Yeah.
Are they all the same, or are they all different?
Yeah, they're all kind of cousins to one another. But because it's such an old way of healing people, it's been going for centuries and millennia, and there are different parts of the world, that's all. Just now the world's a global village, so it's sort of, we call prana in the Philippines, we call reiki somewhere else, ruach and all these other words. They're just old languages, just languages from different parts of the globe, which are all being intermingled now. They're not different categories in and of themselves. However, there are different schools of thought in the training. But even when you finish your training, a bit like a driving test really, you still make it your own afterwards. So you've been trained to do it this way, and it feels better to do it that way because it works better. You're encouraged to find your own voice with this anyway, because it's from the soul, so it's got to be your own way of doing things. So the training is sort of like a guideline, and encouraged to be nothing more than a guideline, so but as long as you get the results and it's all very real and personal to you. Because your soul will be sort of singing to somewhere in my soul, with a bit of help from above, to hoover out all the stuff. So the names are just sort of old words that are all in the same pot, that's all. If we've got no other questions, then can you take your feet off, or your shoes off, and feet go that end, head goes that end, and hands by your side.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll get ready.
So I need your feet about a foot apart and hands by your side, because you'll get most of the surface area then. So you lie down. And just get comfy. And you've got the easy job. What you do is just totally chill. That's about right. After about 5 minutes or so, I'm going to put a crystal in each hand. I'll just tap the back of your hand, or wherever you are, that's fine. And the next half hour or so is all yours. Let me just get into this. I'm sorry to snap you out of it so quickly.
No, it's okay, thank you, it was lovely.
I think what I'll do is just ask you what you felt, particularly around your head and your feet. What did you get?
Yeah, I certainly felt it most around my head and face area, and actually this part of my neck as well.
What was it, heat or tugging or?
I was trying to think to myself at the start, like what I could relate it to in words. At the start, it was more like little waves.
Yeah.
But then by the end, like the only sensation I could think of to relate it to, which is stupid because it's not a sensation, was like cling film.
Oh, really?
Like how it's all like fuzzy and like...
So that's fine.
Yeah.
I said it's like your senses translating into something recognisable. It could be anything. So it's just like these weird images, weird sensations coming.
Yeah.
People get smells often too. They smell flowers. They're convinced the room's full of flowers.
Really?
Yeah. It's just your senses are sort of going, what's going on?
Yeah, it was the kind of thing where I was like, I have no idea how I'm going to try and put this into words because I can feel it, but I don't know what it is. Like some sort of buzzing... tinglingness.
Otherworldly sort of buzzing thing. Definitely.
Yeah.
Did you feel anything around you? Let's start with the solar plexus and the heart chakra. Well, solar plexus
is that like around here?
Solar plexus is sort of here, yes.
Yes, I did feel something there.
That houses your emotions. That's because all these chakras specialise in different subjects, if you like, yet they work together to make the whole you. What was coming out of your solar plexus was things that were any lack of self-belief. So the ambition that's there is more finely tuned and you're more efficient as a sort of self-believing, unafraid woman. And they've got a lot from the tummy as well. The hara chakra is where your buckle is essentially, and that's like the engine room of your chakras. And that had a lot of pull, a lot of stuff, a lot of it seemed to have a lot of doubts from the past, like I need to be warrior woman more, and I really want to get out there and do this, and I don't know whether I could, and all the don't knows were being pulled out. So this time tomorrow you should feel like you could go around the street with a sword and just out of the way world, I'm here, and all that kind of stuff. So it empowered you big time, it seems. So those heat pockets were just the doubts where you're not at your most self-believing and self-empowered. They were being removed. The first time is like an MOT. Normally, let's say you need a series of 5, and each time, each chapter in the story gets to specialise in one particular thing, and it brings up your backstory. The first time is just undercoat, and just sort of general sort of correct this here, and there were a few doubts there, and you need to pull this out. And that's all what today was about. It wasn't that deep. It was just like lots of it kind of thing.
Yeah.
Did you feel anything else?
So it was mainly, like you said, like this area, but also a bit around here.
Yeah, that's your third eye, and that is a good thing you can do to help protect yourself. Just when you're walking around the street, or you're in the pub with other people and they've got gritted teeth, or in a restaurant and they've had a bad day, when they go around going, it forms like little monsters and jumps into your aura. And the way it jumps into your aura is through here, it's like your third eye. So what you can do to protect yourself, like a safety belt, is just picture you've got a mirror, sort of that far in front of you, facing away from you, so I can see myself in your mirror, then it's just picture there. Or a door closed, but a mirror seems to sort of bounce off that. And if I was biting my finger and turning you off, to protect yourself so it doesn't get into you and become part of you and define you, just visualise, you're telling the universe that we're going to close that off. But that's the doorway, and not many people know that, you see. So all you're going to do is say, well, I'll close this please. There's no argument, it's closed. You can picture a mirror and suddenly it just bounces off and nothing can get to you. There you are, straight away, even now you're more protected. It's funny, isn't it? You're picturing it, so that's it. That's it.
I was just looking at you, seeing a mirror.
Through the mirror, it's like a car windscreen. You can see, but everything, you change straight away, and people there's loads of these little tricks, and they're all sort of metaphysical wisdoms that's just really, really useful. So it makes sense to me. But the biggest thing is, as far as the metaphysics is concerned, physical eyes only see physical things, of course, and that's like 0.04%, I think, on a spectrum of stuff, from trust and love to gamma rays and everything else. That's massive, and we're told to believe that's all there is, and it ain't all there is. There's everything else pretty much but that. That's nothing very much at all. Yeah. So you can tune into these, and they're your friend. They want to try and help you. So I could go on for hours.
No, it's fascinating. I'm sure people are interested as well. Does that mean so if I felt those two particular areas, different people would feel different ones depending on...
Totally, all the time. It's so subjective to your personal DNA, actually your spiritual portrait. It's just you and your soul. This goes to the soul, which is why you might get the headache, you might want to sleep, you might get itchy skin. I think 1 in 20 people or so, nothing much, just to let you know, if you get itchy skin, it's all my fault. And it's just your senses trying to sort of compute what's just happened. It's a bit of a jolt, spiritually, a bit of a jolt to the soul, but in a good way, in a caring way.
Actually, when it was happening, I did think one of the sensations was kind of like ticklishness.
Yeah.
So it just reminded me of that as well. But like not actually on the skin tickling, like tickling here, which didn't make sense to me then.
Well, your aura could be out there, so just the periphery or the atmospheric end of your aura.
Yeah, it's where the cling film was like around me.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's the aura, I see.
Yeah.
That's interesting that you can kind of like
find out where it stops and where it starts, how to get in. You don't get closer than that, pretty much, because that's the outside, the skin of the aura, if you like, in a short layman's terms, so keep it simple.
Thank you. It's fascinating to learn about. So,
but like I say, it does all sorts of things. It's not just mental and emotional stuff. It's physical ailments as well. People with bad backs, people with sicknesses, pregnancies that went on about. And it's so subjective to whatever you need. The block that's stopping you becoming physically better, as well as sort of emotionally and mentally better, more resilient. People just tell me again and again, they come back so they feel strong, so that when the world's crashing in on them, they roll with it. It's funny, it doesn't matter anymore. It isn't important. What is important, you think, is so important. If that's removed, it's like, that's so nice to me, what do I care?
I have noticed I feel a lot more positive now afterwards. I don't know if that's... It's not necessarily when
it's a sign of things to come. You will get, like I say, you'll know something good's happened. That's part of the early stages of other stuff. Okay. But people come for a series of them. They notice a big improvement as the weeks progress, and which has changed. And people have totally changed.
It shows it's good to be open-minded to everything and not judge something before trying it yourself.
Yes, at least give it a go.
Yeah.
True.
Well, thank you for having me today.
Thank you.
It was lovely.
Great.
Thank
Good
you
stuff.
so much.